and recording my actual recording of it. So welcome to episode 2 of the Chai Time with Rachelle show. And wow, I'm really in a state and a space of we're really doing this. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. It took me a moment to get my sari on today, and I wear these because I love them, first of all. Number 2, because for me, it's that space of feeling like a goddess. When you put something on and you feel like a goddess. Well, this is where we are. And it was a little challenging today. So with that, woo, I'm definitely feeling somewhat discombobulated this morning in spite of having taken my morning. There's a lot of things happening. A lot of things happening in my life, and of course in your lives, and of course in our lives collectively. There's been so much happening, but where our power is in focusing on us, not outside of ourselves. And that is very much in connecting with ourselves as well. What I'm going to do to kind of, good morning, Goddess Lindsay. And I've learned this little, because I have the latest Instagram on my new phone here. Oh, let's all just take a collective moment, grab our cups. Hello, gorgeous. And this is why, I'm sure it's all turned around for all y'all, but this is why I like to have the image on the back as well. So that we can all share in the beauty of the message on these mugs. So for a moment, let's take a collective recentering here, because I'm even feeling that little bit of nerves. I think that's what this is. Let's just have a sip. There's a reason. Of course there's a reason. There's always a reason. Goddesses, there's always a reason for everything. We might not like the reason all the time for whatever the reason is, for whatever it is. However, there is a reason for everything. And there is a reason for, of course, chai time with Rachelle. Chai time. Chai is a word for tea. I love tea. And I love chai, like spiced chai, masala chai from India and such. So, yeah. We're going to sit and chat about more things today. And the big thing today that we're going to talk about, ego attachment versus soul connection. And I have recently made a video, and by recent, I mean in the last 4 to 8 months, I believe, at least 4 months, I think 6 to 8 months ago, that talks about or ego attachment versus soul connection and the clarity therein, because, woo, as a self-love empowerment coach who found herself on this twin flame journey and then therefore had to dive into this realm and arena, as all of you have, only to go, but wait a minute, but she said this, but you said that, but she said, but, and you start getting a little whiplash, first of all. And then you've got what you're actually handling in your connection with what's going on there. You got all the shit show that's popped off inside of you, all these things going on. And the last thing that any of us needed was to kind of be like, okay, well now what? Because, not everybody's on the same page here. So for me, here I show up and I'm like, wow, there is so much in this realm that is so disempowering. And one of the biggest ones that I came to find and discover, and I walked myself, okay, the whole holding on to my twin flame. Have I completely detached, like 1,000%, where I'm like, totally don't even think about him? No. And I feel that that's not even really possible to completely forget about your twin flame. It's just not going to happen. So let go of that, right? It's about instead what actions you do take. Okay. It's about the work that you do on yourself, focusing on you and your journey. And it is about letting go of the attachments. And one of the ways that I dive into talking about attachments is definitely going to be in the 17-day self-love empowerment challenge. Let me throw that out there because you're going to get an email as well about it. And this 17-day self-love empowerment challenge is something that really will support you as long as you're focusing in it, you're doing the work, and showing up for yourself through the accountability activities as well. Then, dear sweet goddess, you're going to find that you're not going to have a whole lot of time that the ego is going to have wallowing in its self-pity of its attachment, right? Of its addiction of your twin flame. And that's what I'm about to get in here. I'm here to flip shit upside down as a self-love empowerment coach who recognizes that a twin flame journey, which you will hear a lot, a twin flame journey is a self-love empowerment journey on steroids. It means you are in the master's program, goddess. You're not here to just transmute for you. And there's this whole massive extra, because you extra in a good way, right? You knew you could handle this shit, and so you volunteered for this shit. You're like, oh, put me in, coach. I'm ready for it. I can do this. I can befriend my ego and come into inner union, and my twin flame love and I, it's going to be so beautiful and harmonious and perfect. And here we are on this wild ride adventure with the ego that we thought would, right, and I'm sure thought at some point was going to be so easy to befriend. But you see, the ego again has these addictions that we can call attachments, but let's just call them what they are, people. We're addicted, okay? We're addicted to our twin flame. We're addicted to our labels. We're addicted to our ideas. We're addicted to our stories. So now go back, and all that I just said, we're attached to our twin flame. We're attached to our ideals. We're attached to our stories. We're attached to our labels. And when you go to take something away, quote unquote, take away, when it comes that time to further anchor into detachment and therefore further anchor into connection. So it is a detachment / connection that it is, because when you are processing through that detachment, what you're doing is you are anchoring into your connection with you, right? And you're letting go of all of these external things that you're attached to. Okay? My little, again, my whole little, or I'm just, well, all sorts of, again, I had to put this thing on, just, it was a day, it was a morning, I tell you what, it's been a morning, right? Because the ego, my ego, woo, was she attached to it, but it's supposed to go on this way, and I said, you know what, take it off, do it different, try the other direction. And it worked better. I don't have all my pushy pins as much in it, but that's what I'm talking about, goddess, is the attachment to the idea of how something's supposed to be, the story that we have about things, and God freaking blasted the fucking labels, because that is really what that ego is attached to. But that's my twin flame. That person there, and it can't be anybody else, and I have to, because the twin flame story says that I have to be with my twin flame, that I'm supposed to hold on to him, that we're supposed to end up in this perfect, fantastical fantasy fairy tale. That's a Disney delusion. Just saying, I am not, again, that person that's like, calling it out, because we have the ego. But that's what the ego's attached to, is this delusion that everything is going to be absolutely perfect. And if it's not fucking perfect, then, oh my God, it's the end of the world, because the ego is attached to its ideas, its stories, its space. It's those who know me, who've been with me for a while. What does the ego like? His comfort zone, her comfort zone, its comfort zone, what's familiar. Right? Because we can all agree that the comfort zone of the ego, that shit ain't comfortable. It's not comfortable. Because the ego, again, is in this place of wanting. Woo! I want that. I want him. I want this. Don't take this. I will die if I don't have this, I'm going to die. And so that's what ego deaths are about. I know I'm all in this whole dramatic space today. I really am today. Because, again, it just feels like that's what's going on, you know? There's just been so much going on. It's just like, because that's the ego. It's a drama queen. Isn't she? But that's when it's, again, our responsibility to just be like, shh, it's okay. Let's look at this. Like one of my closest soul sisters, her youngest daughter, almost 3 years old she is. And she is raising this child so beautifully. Whenever there's that overwhelm of emotion or she wants something that isn't aligned with the situation where we are, like say go to the gym. They have a kids care center. And most of the time she's so good. She loves to go see her friends and she is a little, when that Gemini is showing up, when that twin is showing up, she's a little social butterfly and she's ready for it. But when the other twin, because I'm a Gemini too, and I know this, when that other side of ourselves is like, I don't want a people today. I don't want to be, then there's that whole dramatic thing. But what does this mother do? And this is where I'm getting at for each and every one of you, for that inner child, that ego, inner child within you that's going to have all these meltdowns when she can't have what she wants, is that you say, just like I love watching this exchange between my girl, my soul sister and her daughter, is let's talk about it. And that's exactly what the little love bug says now. She'll like, let's talk about it. Like when we're playing and she's like, okay, I'm the mommy and you're the baby. She'll tell us, right? Whoever she's playing. And she'll say that to us. We'll be like, and we'll mirror her. Y'all better believe we be mirroring this little girl. Be like, you want to play? We're going to show you. We're really going to play. We're going to play you. And so we'll have those times where we're like, but I don't want to, as the baby. And she will say, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So really, truly, goddesses, the whole wonderful adventure of that with my little love bug, you can tell just, the love. I call her love bug. I always have. And she'll correct me. But I'm your love bug. And I'm like, of course you are. But the purpose of that is she is that inner child that we all once were. And she just wants to be heard. Okay? Yeah, she wants what she wants. And there's all this emotion that's coming up in this moment. But really what she wants is to be heard. So she doesn't get what she wants right now in this moment. And that's devastating so often for the ego, especially when it's something we really, really, really want, like our twin flame. And you'll see in a moment why I like my air quotes. Why I'm air quoting my twin flame, but that inner child in you, she's going to be devastated. And it's up to you to actually say to her, you know what, let's okay. Let's sit right here and let's talk about it. Like really, truly allow for yourself to have a voice in that moment. That it doesn't matter what you need to say, that you say it. And that at the same time, that mother in you that you are now to that inner child listens. And she honors what that child has to say in you. And then she says, I understand, baby girl, that's what you want. However, we have lessons to learn to get to what we want. And so often we don't get what we want when we want it because it's not done right. It's not all the way cooked, shall we say. It's not aligned. And even right now, my little inner mean girl is just sitting here going, I know what you're about to say, and I don't like what you're going to say. Because sometimes the universe has something better planned for you. The ego is like, well, fuck you, bitch. I want to do it my way. And so what happens is, because of that attachment to wanting to do it my way. Oh, Frank, I hear you. Frank Sinatra. I love that song of his. I did it my way. Oh, I love that song. I had a moment. I'm hearing Frank all of a sudden. I did it my way. But the way that is your way is how you show up. It's how you respond. It's how you choose to let go of these attachments, which means to choose to let go of the suffering that you are going to perpetuate, that you are creating for yourself by clinging to this, which is your addiction. And as an addict, and I say once an addict, always an addict, and here's why I'm going to say this, because we are, first of all. I may no longer be addicted to Coke or what was it? Oh, cigarettes. Oh, I still can't believe I ever smoked cigarettes. I think about that now and I'm just like, wow. Like, again, when you realize who you are now, when you look at what your life was before, like for me, I can't even fathom that I was ever a pimped out drug addicted prostitute who was strung out on Coke and I can't. It's so mind-boggling to me now. However, especially as I sit here looking like the worthy, abundant bitch that I am, and be in this space of that, wow, I come so far. And all of that I had to go through when I had all of these big dreams when I first came out to Arizona. Look, I gotta... Listen, goddesses, a sidebar here. When it comes to manifesting, be very, very specific. As specific as you can, because you see, I came out here to Arizona thinking that, ooh, I'm going to stop in Phoenix or Scottsdale. There was modeling agencies and stuff. I'm going to stop in Phoenix and I'm going to be a model and an actress and I'm going to be great. And this was back when I was 22, okay? I won't even tell you how many years ago. Shh. Did you catch that? Okay. Okay. And, I did. I did. I did become a model and an actress. I did, sisters. Because that is what you call an escort. She's a model and an actress who acts the role that the gentleman callers ask of her. Specificity is key, just saying. And that's why also in the 17-day self-love empowerment challenge, there are some damn good journal prompts that support some specificity in your journey for sure. So again, that's why I want to get to the whole air quotes thing because of labels, right? Labels. We've been talking about our attachment to our stories, right? To our stories, to our ideals and our ideas of how we perceive things should be. And that, oh my God, if it's not this way, then it's the end of the world. And woof, boy, did I get checked. My ego sure got checked because she was running the show for a minute for sure, you better believe. And she sure likes to have her day in the spotlight, as we all do, right? As all of our egos do. She's been running the show the whole time of our lives until you awaken to that realization that, oh my God, no wonder I'm suffering and miserable. It's because I'm attached to that. And I didn't even realize I was actually so attached. Like, again, my house. I have a 6 to 7 year cycle in terms of where I live. I'm at 6.5 years in this house, and I was just given notice this month because she's going to sell it. Last minute decision. She's selling it. I got to be out. And wow, I say last minute, she had stopped paying the mortgage, which I knew was the only way you could get what's called a remodification for your loan for the house. And everybody else I'd ever known who stopped paying the mortgage, that was what they did. I've never known someone who just said, oh, never mind, I'm done. I'm like, what? Yeah. So my expectations were that I was staying here. Surprise! Surprise. And all of this after what's been these last, 4 to 6 months, of having these dreams, these things I was attached to, these visions. And by attached, again, goddesses, I want to point out that attachment is I have to have that, or I will suffer, or I'm going to die, or I'm going to be miserable, or whatever bullshit story the ego wants to come up with, right? Because who's creating that for yourself? Show of hands. Everybody better get them up, because everybody's doing it for themselves here, right? We all do it. We all do it. We all do it. So releasing the attachment, releasing that attachment, because especially with the connection, and we're getting a little bit more to that space, right? Because you have the connection, there is no need for attachment. The ego is the aspect of ourselves that needs whatever it's attached to. The ego is the aspect of ourselves that wants, and when I say want, you notice that gusto behind it, that wants, wants what it wants, and isn't going to be happy unless she gets exactly what she wants. What a great opportunity to find a place that you like even better. I love you, Goddess Amy. Listen, my mean girl has not been cool about this shit at all. She's been like, what the? I don't have time for all this. Like, and my room that I spent a week painting, just all of it. And it's just like, all right, baby, all right. Let it out, let it out. Because I put my heart and soul into this room. It took me a week to paint this room. And then I painted some of it over, because it's actually orange and green squares on that half of the room. That's what it had originally been. And then I really just wanted green. I just wanted all green. So I know this paint color. I will be getting it and painting my new creative space, because it's just green. That's my grounding. That's my feel good space. And it's realizing that you can do that anywhere, right? And that's the thing, is looking at that going, okay, so what is it that is aligned with you, as opposed to what do you want, right? Because I'm sitting here going, I don't know what I want. What do I want? I want basically what I have. I do. I really do. I'm not asking for a lot. I don't need a big fancy house, but I do need my own house. I am that person. I grew up in a very crowded household. Very crowded. Up until I was just about 14. We lived in a very small 3-bedroom farmhouse, and there were 6 of us. And then my parents built a log home when I was just before I turned 14. We moved in a little right after I think that summer, right after I turned 14. And I didn't even get the room painted the color that I wanted. She had to put wall paint, do all this extra work. So I had to stay in a room that I didn't even want. I was like, isn't this great? So I'm working through mega, I say mega, but still working through mother wounds, because mother wounding, yeah, especially as the feminine, right? We got a lot of that. And that goes back to that attachment to our stories, right? Attachment to the story that I am this way, and so I have to be a certain way. I am a woman, so I have to be this certain way. Or, oh God, my mother did it that way, so I have to do it this way. Or even what's been a lot of mine is, I am my mother's mistake, and she made damn sure to let me know that. But my ego, man, so been working on a lot of that, especially with these last 2 years of this whole great awakening, this whole consciousness shift that we're in. all this dense, heavy shit, all that we are attached to, and there I am with my air quotes again, all that we are attached to, we have to detach from. That's why it's all being amplified. That's why so many lives just look like they're just falling apart. Because the lives that we chose were what we thought we wanted based on the shit that we were programmed to believe about ourselves. Again, attachment to a story, attachment to a narrative, attachment to an ideal of who you think you are, but you're really not. Same goes about your twin flame. The ideal of who he could be. That women tend to do this with men in general, not just as twin flames, but in general. We create an ideal of who we know they could be. That rising to the occasion of really stepping into their masculinity, shall we say, their divine masculinity, right? But you're not their mother. And I'm saying this because that is one of the templates, one of the many templates that we have to transmute. And you better believe it's going to be in the twin flame dynamic, because everything that is in the collective is going to be found in the twin flame dynamic. Just seriously, everything that needs to be transmuted, transcended, healed, and everything, right? Everything. You have to, yeah. Oh, and I caught this popped up. I know this is a loaded question, but how do you detach? You are so right, Amy. And that's where we're moving to next. That's why all my little air quotes and things. So how do you detach? Labels is is where you have to start. And you really start by listing out, and I do this in the challenge. This little step is in the challenge, where you've got to start, first and foremost, you've got to get clear on what you're attached to. And then detachment, you've got to start asking yourself certain questions like, who am I without this? Because that's really going to make your ego eyeballs go, what you talking about, Willis? What you mean, who am I without this? And that's going to trigger all sorts of shit. And you have to allow for this to come up and be released. So, because as things are released, that feeds that detachment. And there's going to be a lot of the breath work, meditation, a lot of presence practices, which, example, savoring a cup of tea. Things that are going to pull you into the present, not just pull you, but ground you into the present moment, right? Because when you're in the present moment, then you're not in your head, which means you're not in that ego space. You're not in, remember, Goddess Amy, what was this? It's been a moment since I've said this, right? Because this, right? This is, and I'm going to clarify with everybody else because I'm sure you're coming with the answer there. This is what I started explaining a couple years ago in my coaching. This is what amazing little clarifying download. That's something that I do, that I'm gifted with, is to be able to translate and give you all a visual in all these different ways, so that you can have a better understanding of what the fuck. Okay? What the fuck? So this is your storage room, right? Back here. I'm not talking this third eye. No. That's connected to your intuition, right? That's that seeing eye for your heart, your whole soul space, right? But the ego, right, back here in all your storage room, and most of us are old enough to, again, storage rooms with filing cabinets and files and papers and folders strewn about everywhere. It's just fucking chaos, okay? That is the ego's dominion. Okay, is this storage room. It's where it's everything it's experienced, it's everything it's taken in, it's everything that's been programmed, it's everything that's been taught to believe that it does believe, and how it runs the show. And it's got to have this whole little reference point so that when you come up with a great idea that's going to allow you to fully expand, it's going to come in here and go, whoa, whoa, whoa. Wait a minute. Let me tell you why we can't do that. Danger. And the ego will find anything and everything it can to talk you out of expansion, out of expanding, out of letting go of what you're attached to. All right? And that's the other thing why meditation can be so challenging, because right? Up here in that storage room, thinky. It's challenging to quiet that. Right? So you don't want to be up here. You don't want to be up here very much. Instead, you want to drop down to this heart, this soul space. This is your living room. This is from where you really are being called to live from, is this heart and this soul space. To answer the call of what is calling you forward that does sound good. I mean, you don't know what's waiting on the other side of that door, but you just know that, I like the sound of what's behind door number 2. I will take it. Thank you. But then the ego going to jump out and be like, no, gotcha. You know. The more you can reclaim your power from the ego is the far more you are going to facilitate your detachment from anything and everything that is creating suffering in your life. It is about getting real with yourself as well. Again, on who am I without this? So yes, Goddess Amy, that's one of the, that's kind of like a all over there of the detachment, you know, in short is presence, meditation, self-reflection, big time. Really asking yourself the honest questions and being willing to break down what needs breaking down to release all of this. It's not going to happen overnight. Most likely, you may not feel much of anything for a day or 2 or 3. On the other hand, you might go, you know what, I'm done, and I'm going to be present, and I'm going to do this breath work and this meditation, and I'm done with this attachment. And you may notice that shift right away. Right away. So, I'm excited. I just got a text on the house that I really wanted the other day. I'm like, yeah! Deep breaths, Rachelle. There was that ego. Woo! Oh, I wanted that because here's something else. I love my little notes here. I love this because I had to write this. When I'm sitting here going, again, universe, how am I going to best convey so that you all can really, truly grasp the message today? And one of those was that attachment is wanting, whereas connection is having. It already is. It already is. So why do you want anything? And even I'm needing this message in this moment of going, oh my gosh, why would you do this? There's so much other stuff going on. And it's like, it's happening for you, Rachelle, for you. As with all on this journey, happens for us. So, how to detach? Have I answered that for you, dear Goddess Amy? How to detach in the best way. Again, it is an evolutionary process. It is not going to happen overnight. And it is going to come as a result of showing up for yourself, being aware for yourself, being conscious of your thinking, your state of being, what your focus is, right? And what your actions are, what you're doing for yourself, right? Now, again, let me make sure, I always like to make sure I at least cover everything. You just want to know, yeah. And that's something else too, Goddess Amy, and all goddesses here, is again with these labels, mother, father, daughter, son, sister, brother. It's amazing that we hold on to toxic relationships like those just because of the labels they bear. Same with your twin flame. If your twin flame is in a toxic place, you've got to look at all the ways then that you are allowing toxicity in your space. Because that's what that is. Okay? And he needs to come aligned or he doesn't get to come at all. Okay, goddesses? Because that is a worthy, abundant bitch goddess, not a weak-ass bitch. Okay? And I love throwing that in there because, yes, my new, again, you'll be hearing more about it too. I gotta tell, you know, it's part of this whole self-love empowerment thing, right? Of, you know, owning who you are and not giving power away to even a stupid fucking word like bitch. It's like someone's gonna call you that. Someone's gonna call you that. And my soul sister and I at Worthy Abundant Bitch LLC, boom, it's legit. We're here to help you clarify which. Okay, so again, that's what I'm about, is reclaiming your power on this journey in whatever way. And so that's going to be right now about these labels, these words, right? Like the word bitch, like label, twin flame. I assure you, goddesses, husband, goddess Amy, husband would be a word, right? Would be the same. There's no difference other than what the word is. Twin flame, husband, boyfriend, blah, 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 whatever the label is. You've got to start separating the label from the person. Oh God, I remember that song. Ah! I'm a bitch, I'm a goddess on my knees. Oh God, now I'm gonna have to, I used to have the single cassette. I did. That got played a lot. I'm like, where was I? Oh my God, that was great. Bitch, goddess, weak ass bitch, worthy abundant bitch. Labels! There we go. Detachment, labels, right? Right? Because, I mean, you can call me a bitch. I'm just going to clarify which, but, you know, I'm still just whatever. It's whatever. It's whatever. It's whatevs. Water off of, like, right now, because this fabric is so soft, like, I'm really thinking, like, water off a duck's back right now. It's seriously, like, this water off a duck's back, right? That's how, again, it's got to start being with all of this, these labels of husband, labels of all of these. When you start to just say, let me see this individual as an individual outside of the labels. How would I view this person? What would I think of them? How would I feel about them if there were not labels guiding my perspective and my perception of them? Again, like you said, Amy, loaded question. Loaded. So I hope that I gave you, you know, some options there, but really it comes down to just being present, being willing to see it for what it is, see yourself for who and what you are, and be willing to make whatever changes are necessary to align with whatever results that you desire in your life. Yeah. And definitely going to be a big thing to clarify and be able to detach, right? Separate the label and the person. So you can actually see them as this soul being who has an ego, just like us, who, you know, has their own issues and their own traumas and their own comfort zone and all of this, their own identity crisis as well. And it doesn't help when we're constantly going, but you're my husband, but you're my twin flame, but you're my mother, but you're my... They're human beings. Actually, no. They're soul beings first. Then human, you know, soul beings having a temporary human experience. So just like all of us, we're all having an identity crisis here, right? That's why Alanis, no, it was Meredith Brooks. Meredith Brooks. Bitch. Man, that's one of the best fucking songs ever, because you want to talk about a song packed full of fucking labels. Thank you, Goddess Amy, for bringing that song into the thread here, right? I recommend going to hear it and having some fun with it. Like, belt it out, goddesses. Belt that bitch out, okay? But seriously, for real. We are in a space where it's about realizing that we are the ones that are continuing to keep not just ourselves, but others in these limiting spaces by continuing to hold these labels on them. And so it's okay. It's okay that there are labels. It's the attachment to that label. It's the energy behind that label. So you could say, like, yeah, that's my pillow. Okay. I'm not attached to that. I'm like, yeah, okay, thanks, but I'll take that, whichever, you know. You notice that where it's again, goddesses, she was right. It really is a loaded question. There's so many different angles that we can come at this with. And really, I'm just more for, again, starting with the fundamentals here. Those labels, starting to separate those and starting to really remove those, you know, I'm seeing those really thick lenses, glasses, where we're like, but you're this and this and this and this. Like, you see what I mean? Those really thick glasses. And what that is those are all the filters. Because that's what a label is a filter. You're filtering someone into a category because of their label. Oh my goodness, I'm telling you. Good times. Let me see. Labels, and yeah. So that's where we are, goddesses. Soul connection. Let me wrap us up with that. Soul connection, as I've said, is having. Soul connection, there's not a lot to be said about it other than it is. It is. It doesn't require a label. It just is. You don't need or want, or need, like, again, I need, you know, people will say, I need my coffee, I need my tea, I need my this. No, that's ego, that's attachment. Again, that's going to be one of the big things. Again, Amy, you've been with me the longest in this regard when I say that. Remember, the very first step to reclaiming your power on this journey through any facet is with awareness. Because with awareness, you reclaim this chunk of your power back. Because when you become aware of something, it's no longer hidden from you. Got it? It's no longer in the shadows. You have just shined a light in there and said, ooh, I see you. I see you now. And I'm going to see you coming every time moving forward. And I'm going to know then, you know, be like Neo, like, nope, missed me. Nope, missed me. Okay? So awareness first, and then bit by bit by bit. Evolutionary. You will release the attachments, plural, all of them. And just surrender to the journey. Just trust that everything that you need will be provided for. That you were just passing through this life anyway. It's the ego that's so obsessed with, oh my God, because the ego does die. It dies many times, okay? With every time that we have one of these revelations that happens. But the soul is this constant. And the soul is that aspect of ourselves that's connected to everything. There is no question about the connection. Again, I reiterate, it is. And you don't need confirmation of it, validation of it. You have that knowing in you. And that's all that's necessary for the connection. There's no need for suffering. There's no need for worrying about, oh my God, where are they? Are they coming back? Or are we ever going to be together? There's none of that. None of that. It's just trust and surrender and allowing. So release the attachments, especially the one to your twin flame, because I assure you, sister, everybody out there who is telling you to hold on to him and cling, 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 does that feel good? Does it? Or are you continuing to suffer? Because again, I assure you that anything that you're being asked to hold on to, one, is an attachment, which means number two, it's coming from ego. This is why I have goddesses who reach out to me, who've booked sessions with me and such in the past. And, all of a sudden they'll come out of the woodwork and be like, oh my God, I heard this. Please, I trust you. What is your perspective on this? Because this did not feel empowering here. And I'm like, all right, let me make a video. But that's why Try Time with Rachelle has started, is so that I can address any and all questions as well that come from all of you. We can talk about all sorts of topics, and believe me, I have a notebook full of topics that we can discuss that is all encompassing of this self-love empowerment journey, which, remember, a twin flame journey is a self-love empowerment journey. And with that, I remind you that I will put the link down below to sign up for the 17-day self-love empowerment challenge, as well as because of how Facebook and Instagram work, I just have left the lives up. However, because of how YouTube works, it will still be uploaded. There will still be a beautiful playlist for the replays, and they will be there indefinitely. So you can be sure to start to a playlist or whatever, save your favorite episodes. That way, anybody comes along that wants to kind of attempt to shoot you down, shall we say, then come back, and I'm here to lift you back up and assist you in finding your power so you can feel empowered again. That's what I am about at Empowerment Experiences. In case I didn't mention it at the start of the show, which I'm known to do, my name is Rachelle Richard, and I am the founder, CEO, and self-love empowerment coach here at Empowerment Experiences, where we are looking for and finding our power all along this, which is each our own self-love empowerment journey. And again, one last time, a twin flame journey, a healing twin flames journey, is a self-love empowerment journey on steroids. And with that, goddesses, I remind you that the power to detach, the power to transmute this, to transcend this power to live a happy life, this power to let go of the suffering that you're creating for yourself, that power is in your hands. If you are looking to book a session with me and have my support in assisting you in finding this power in your hands, you can do that at iamempowered.as.me. I will leave that link down below as well. Because it is my love, my mission, my purpose to be here to remind you again that that power is in your hands, because, goddess, that power has always been inside you. Namaste.